Hello, and welcome to Hyper Curious. I'm Sapphire, and today I'm going to talk about drawing fantasy maps. It's not a current hyperfocus, but it's one that I've had a few years ago, and I still enjoy it, but I don't do it anymore. But it gave me an excuse to finally finish a map I started 2 years ago or something. I started, um, I've always found fantasy maps really cool, and I wanted to be able to do that. But I thought it was too difficult because they looked really cool. And then I found videos of WASD20. He makes videos about D&D, map drawing, and everything else related to those things. So I wanted to learn how to draw such maps, but I'm not a really good drawer. But then I found a playlist of WAC20 in which he step by step teaches you how to draw maps. So I decided to do that, and this is how it turns out. I thought it looked really cool for being my first map. I immediately also started thinking about lore for this place. So you have three countries. You have Cleo, the left of the mountains, and Deu, on the right of the mountains. And these two countries hate each other. They're, they aren't at war anymore because the gods made mountains between them, but they still hate each other, and there's still a lot of fights between people from both countries and stuff like that. The third country is Orlog, and this is all the islands below the main landmass. When drawing fantasy maps was my hyperfocus, I drew maps everywhere. These maps, which I also showed at the beginning of this video, are some of the maps I drew. But these are the bigger maps I drew because I also have a lot of very small maps, like with only the size of an island or something like that.
So now I'm going to show you how to draw such maps. I start off with drawing out the outline in pencil. I already drew out what kind of shape I wanted because drawing a hexagon freehanded isn't that easy. When I draw maps, I still use the way the videos of WASD20 taught me. I start off with making the border like I'm gonna do now. So just a bit of scribbly lines, sometimes going a bit in to the shape you want, sometimes a bit out. You obviously don't have to do a shape first. You can just do it free-handed, can just do what you feel like in the moment. But I drew a shape first because I wanted a hexagon shape because of her logo. Okay, so this is my border. Now I'm gonna quickly sketch out what I want to do for the rest. So I'm thinking maybe do some mountains in the middle. Maybe I don't know a forest over here. I draw my forest, and that's the my basic icon for a forest. You will see why, because my the actual forest I draw looks a bit like it, but it's not so um, so quickly sketched. Um, what about putting a desert over here with some hill, with some rocks, maybe putting in a cactus, something like that to just show that it will become a desert. Some maybe I'll put um, a city, like not a very small city, but not a very big either. I will show you the 4 designs I have for places. This is just a, a medium city. What about a swamp over here? Just like some scribbly lines, some lines to indicate this will become swamp. Maybe some farm area, some fields, some grass over here, and maybe what about a farm? Or like it's more a village than a farm, but yeah, like over here. I'll draw it into. And maybe I should do something a little bit different over here, like a volcano. Quickly sketch out some lines to indicate that there is bare land over there. Just nothing grows there because it's volcanic ashes, like volcanic rocks. And for my last place, I haven't decided yet what I'm gonna do. I can maybe put some hills over here. That also makes it more logical, so then the water flows from there to the swamp, and in my head that makes sense. And maybe on the other side just some earth, some normal land, maybe a bit of grass. Okay, so this is my basic sketch. I'll include the other types of settlements too. I'm thinking of where I can put like a capital. Maybe not too close to the volcano in the desert. What about over here? Something like that. And the last settlement I will maybe put in the swamp. I'm also gonna sketch in some lakes. That's almost it. Still gonna I'm still gonna indicate some space for names of settlements so that I don't draw over it. Okay, I think that's it. Now I'm gonna start actually drawing it. For drawing my maps, I use Bigma Micron pens. I think they're very good. They're really black, and when you rub out the pencil marks later on, they stay black. You don't have that with every pen. I really like using them. I bought a packet where there are a lot of different types of pens in it, and also a brush pen. I find a brush pen very useful for drawing a border. So I'm gonna start with drawing the border. For the border, I use an 8. It's the biggest one I have, but I want the border to be fairly thick. You just follow the lines. Sometimes you decide, no, I don't want to follow the lines. I rather have it a bit off, or I don't really like that entirely what I drew earlier, so you can still change it now. So the border is done now, and the next step is I make the lines on the lower side of the map a bit thicker, so it looks like it has more depth. I do that using the brush pen to just So that's done. You can already see that the map has more depth because of the lines. The next step is adding an extra line around the map and adding little squiggly lines to make it look like they're waves, because this is an island and around that I see, and you will clearly see what I mean with the squiggly lines and what the effect is. For this extra line, I used the Pigment Micron 3, so it's less thick than the earlier line. When it's like deeper in, I usually add like an extra line to make it, to blend it more together. Okay, now that I'm done with the lines, you can see what the effect is. So you have the depth, and then now you also have the lines from the waves. The next thing I'm gonna do is start with drawing the mountains. For the mountains, I also used the Micron 3. And it's just drawing some triangles. The ones more in the middle, a bit bigger. Maybe instead of making this all mountains, I can also put some hills over here to break it up a little, because otherwise, if this whole area was mountains, that will be a lot of mountains. And maybe I can, instead of naming the mountains, I can name this plain with mountains and hills. So yeah, like you can see, I change my ideas when I'm drawing to fit whatever I see fits in the moment. I lost a part of the footage of drawing the mountains, so this is what I have already. I'm sorry for losing the footage. The memory of my phone wasn't big enough to film the whole video. Putting some lines in there to make it look like they're mountains under the name tag. So these are the mountains. Now I will start putting in some hills. Big ones where they meet the mountains, and then they will turn into smaller ones and more at the top. Now I'm making some dotted hills to indicate that the hills are getting less steep and less hilly. Okay, something like this. Now I will add some shadows because this looks rather bland. For the shadows, I again use the 005 pen. and I will basically for the mountains draw a squiggly line for at the top of the mountains, and then some lines like this to make the shadow. And I do that with all the mountains, and I basically make the line go to around the top of another mountain, but not actually touching it, or not always actually touching, to make it more like real mountains, because real mountains also don't go from one top to another top. Okay, I think I'm done with the mountains. You can see, if you compare this with what it was earlier, um, you see way more depth than just the triangles I had earlier. Um, for the hills, I'm gonna do something differently. I'm gonna use a pencil for the shadows, just to show you different ways of uh, doing the shadows. But actually, I'm gonna use pencil for these, for the dotted hills, because it is less obvious, and I might do dotted shadows for the other hills to show you the difference between several kinds of shadows. Because the dotted shadows aren't very visible, I might do it with uh, an O2 instead. I will see how that looks. This already looks way better, and so yeah, gonna do that for all hills. Okay, so now all the shadows of the inner part are done. This was also the longest part, because drawing mountains, hills, and doing all the shadows takes a lot of time. But yeah, it's done now. Um, Maybe I shall move on to the forest. For the outside of the forest, I will use the 03, and it's basically just drawing pointy line on the outside. However big you want your forest to be, then draw some tops of some trees, and then for the last part of the of drawing forests, I draw some tiny lines with a 005 representing the base of the trees. And like I did for the island itself, I only do this on the lower parts of the of the forest. There you go. The forest is very fast to draw, so it's a nice thing to do. Now I'm going to draw the um, the other hills over here. And actually, I'm not gonna use the dotted ones over here. I just only gonna use the hills, because hills don't necessarily have to get smaller. They can turn into grass. Oh, sorry, I draw the grass with the 005. So a bit of grass, a bit of just normal earth, ground, like that. Next, I will do the swamp. For the swamp, I draw some lines like I did earlier for just ground. To some of those, I will add some plants, and then between those lines, I will draw squiggly lines like this, so it looks like a swamp. Next is the lake. I will just move clockwise now, so the lake will um, up, will get an outline with 03, and then the inside will be with the 05, like this, and then again some squiggly lines. So basically it's the inverted of the outside. The outside is first a line outside of the island, and then the waves. This is the other way around. But you can't have a lake without rivers, so I will draw rivers from the mountains to the lake like this. Two rivers, or a few rivers that join together, and then another one that goes, and then from the lake the river will go into the sea. Between the rivers and around it, there I will put some grass like this to indicate fields where animals can graze. Maybe there is a farmer who has cows or sheep. Next will be the other side of the village, and here there will be fields for food, like grain, wheat, that kind of stuff. Just putting a grid of lines like that. I will also already put in the settlements. So you have the capital over here with the big towers and with 3 flags, because flags are cool. I got these symbols along with most of my drawings and my style from the videos of WASD, so all credits goes to there. I like the design, and it's a very easy design, and it looks nice, so I keep doing this. This is a smaller settlement, but not the smallest, like more like a medium city or a big city that's not the capital. This is the last city kind of type. It's a small settlement, but not as small as a village that is indicated by a farm. This last is my village type, so it's, or actually not mine, but the last one is the village type. I also have added everywhere like these little extra lines to make it look more like it's on the ground. You don't have to do that, it's completely up to your own taste, but I like to do it. The next thing is my volcano. So I will draw in the volcano first and add the same shadows as I did for the mountains. So just some lines like this. And around the volcano, I will put lines like this. And maybe put some dots between it to make it look even more like a wasteland. The dots aren't that easily visible, but I will make them a bit more pronounced so you can actually see what I mean, like this. The next part is also something I like to make. It's the deserts. So I start off with dots, but I will make them more pronounced like I did for the volcano. And then I will add some rocks like this, just pointy things. Maybe add a cactus over here and a cactus over here. I like drawing cacti as part of deserts. I think it looks cool. I changed the direction of the arms because I already had one the other way around. I like to change things up a bit. You absolutely don't have to do that. Now, there, I will also add a river over here. And maybe put like another branch that comes from there. I won't do it over here because it's a desert. It doesn't have a lot of water. But I like it. Now the part I find the most difficult, thinking of names. Maybe because the map is based on our logo, maybe I can call this plane Hypercura. I will write this with my 05 because it's a bit bigger but not too big, but I want this to be written pretty big. Hypercura. I will call this place Amito because it's in Amethyst's part of the logo. Maybe the volcano can be Bukor, because both Amethyst and I love books, and hopefully you've seen Amethyst's video about all his favorite books. Otherwise, check it out. But yeah, you can clearly see in that video that he loves books, and I also really love books. So I think it fits for this map. Only 3 names to go. If I can't really think of something, I usually look around, see what I can see, and just combine letters, and I get some words out of it. For example, I see a pen, I see some mountains, so maybe Pemor, maybe this one. Only 2 to go. Our capital has to be another more special name, I think. Oh wait, I haven't had a name linked to myself yet, so maybe I can make this Sapphire. And maybe I can name the capital after the plane in which it lies. So maybe I can call it Hyperguro, because you might say it's in the language it is an A for the place and an O from where it is in the place or from that place or something like that. So Hyperguro. There you go. So now the map is finished. The only thing left is erasing all pencil marks. I find this a very satisfying moment to see everything um, become more pronounced because you still have pencil lines between it, or like here or here. So yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so that's it. I accidentally erased a part of the shadow over here, so I will just redraw that. But for the rest, it's done. Oh wait, I forgot to do the shadow on the hills over here, so I will quickly do that. There we go. It's way better. And like I said earlier, you can see that the pens stayed really black, and that's what I love so much about them. So yes, I hoped you um, liked seeing the process of how to make a fantasy map like this. Make sure to check out the videos of WASD20. I'll put the playlist to his fantasy maps video in the description. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye!